Let me just say this up front. I didn't go into the night expecting disaster. I went into it hoping for butterflies, maybe a little bit of spark, and okay. A TikTok-worthy kiss under a streetlight if the universe was feeling generous. The universe was not feeling generous, but I didn't know that yet. It all started with a message, Noah Clark, 17th soccer guy, dimples that could probably be legally classified as weapons. He wore oversized hoodies, posted playlists with cryptic names like For Rainy Minds, and had the kind of jawline that made girls in school accidentally walk into lockers. We'd been DMing for a few weeks. It started with memes. Then it turned into late-night convos about random stuff. Favourite cereals, weird dreams, if ghosts get bored, that kind of thing. He always typed with perfect grammar, but never used emojis, which made everything he said feel just a little bit deeper. Then one night he said, "Wanna grab dinner sometime?" That was it. Casual, cool. My heart still nearly exploded. The outfit, the overthinking, the overplanning. The date was set for Saturday night at Stefano's, which is basically the fanciest place in town that also serves fries. I spent an hour picking out an outfit. Tried on 8 different tops, texted my best friend photos, ignored her first choice because it made me feel like a tired flight attendant, settled on jeans and a cropped sweater that said, "Not your problem," across the front. In retrospect, ironic. I curled my hair. I reapplied my lip gloss 4 times. I wore perfume that literally had the word crush in its name. I even packed gum, not mints. Gum, because I read somewhere that gum makes you look cooler when you chew it while laughing. Not that I was planning to laugh with my mouth open, I just wanted to be prepared for anything. The pre-date texts, still hopeful, I wrote, "So excited, see you at 6:30. Noah, same, you like root beer? Just random." I replied with, "Lol, yeah, why?" Noah, "No reason, you'll see. See, flirty, mysterious, and just the right amount of weird." I was floating. Literally humming to myself as I waited on the sidewalk outside the restaurant, watching every car that passed, fixing my hair in my phone camera, imagining him pulling up and stepping out looking like a movie moment. 6:30, 6:42, 7:01. I was still smiling at 6:35, still optimistic at 6:45, mildly confused at 6:52. Texted him at 6:55. "Hey, just checking, everything good?" At 7:03, he finally replied, "Sarai. Traffic, also lost my hoodie, be there soon far." Okay, deep breath, no big deal. People run late, maybe his phone died earlier, or his GPS rerouted him through Narnia. It happens. And besides, I still felt good. I looked good, I smelled like vanilla and optimism. I was ready to believe that this was the beginning of something, and maybe it was, just not the kind of something I had in mind. Noah finally pulled up at 7:12 p.m. I clocked it, I smiled anyway, because I was trying to be chill. Whatever that means. His car looked like it had survived a zombie apocalypse. Scratches, fast food wrappers on the dash, and a suspicious dent near the left headlight. He leaned out the window, gave me this lazy half smirk, and said, "You look different than your pics." In a good way. Just different, huh? Not quite the "you look amazing" I had pictured, but okay. Maybe he was nervous. Maybe that was his version of being sweet. Spoiler, it wasn't. Inside, Stefano's, the host, led us to a corner booth under one of those tiny flickering wall sconces that made everyone look like a haunted Victorian ghost. I laughed nervously and slid into my seat. Noah sat across from me, pulled his hoodie sleeve over his hands and glanced at the menu for about 4 seconds before saying, "Yo, I hope they got good bread here. I'm starving. No waiter yet. Just water." I took a sip, playing with my straw. He didn't touch his, just stared at the menu like it personally offended him. 10 minutes passed, then 15, then 20. I was about to make a joke about the waiter ghosting us when I looked up and Noah had the straw in his mouth, not sipping. Chewing Getsy. Like, chomping with passion. I blinked. He caught me staring and grinned. "I do this when I'm hungry," he said. "It's like gum, but more aggressive." He held up the mangled remains of the straw. It looked like a chewed-up worm had been through war. I opened my mouth to respond, and no words came out. I think my brain short-circuited. I was trying to stay normal. I smiled. Still trying. Still holding on to the imaginary version of Noah I had built in my head. The one who posted moody playlists and wrote "Don't trust easy" in his bio. This wasn't that guy. That guy didn't chew straws like survival rations. I sipped my water, praying silently that the waiter would come. That food would ground us, that something would snap us back to normal. Instead, Noah asked, "You ever wonder if birds are real?" Like, real, I laughed nervously. Like, the animal? He leaned in, dead serious. Some of them, yeah, but most? Nah, government drones, duh. My brain was not braining. But before I could process that statement, he bit the plastic straw again, louder this time. Chomp chomp, right in front of me, like we were on a picnic in a landfill. Let's pause, because this is where most girls in a rom-com would start plotting their escape route, right? But I didn't. Why? Because sometimes we want it to work so badly. We ignore the obvious. We make excuses. He's quirky. He's probably just nervous. He's hungry. Maybe he was dropped as a child. I didn't say anything. I just nodded, smiled politely, and hoped the breadsticks would appear like magic and distract us from the fact that this boy just ate plastic on our first date. But this was only the beginning. The chewing? Just the pre-show. What came next would make me rethink everything, from the existence of dinosaurs to the meaning of personal hygiene. But for now, I just sipped my water. He crunched more straw, and somewhere deep in my gut, I felt the tiniest flicker of a red flag. I just didn't know yet. I was at the start of a red flag fireworks finale. At this point, I was hoping the food would arrive and fix everything. You know, like one of those restaurant makeover shows. Except instead of renovating the kitchen, it was renovating this date. Spoiler alert, no renovation happened, only destruction. Beautiful, slow, cringy destruction. We were 35 minutes in. My stomach was growling. I'd resorted to folding my napkin into sad little triangles, while Noah started telling me about his dreams. No, like, actual dreams. Literal ones. Last night I dreamt I was a shark, he said, stabbing an ice cube with his straw. But like, I could talk. I told this dolphin that I didn't believe in the moon landing. I blinked. Okay, why? 'Cause it's fake. CGI, like early green screen. The government needed a win, you know, and here it was. Conspiracy corner. Live and uninvited. That's when it happened. He shifted in his chair, leaned over slightly, and just farted. Loud. Sharp. No warning. No oops. Just detonation. There was a half second of silence where the universe itself seemed to pause in horror. Then Noah grinned, like full-on, teeth out, proud kind of grin. Better out than in, right? He said. Like we were at a slumber party, not a literal restaurant. With other humans around, I laughed. Out of shock, not humour. My soul briefly left my body. I thought that was it. I thought that had to be the peak, the low point, the rock bottom. But no. Because about 3 minutes later, just as I opened my mouth to ask him what he wanted to order, a desperate attempt to reroute us back to normalcy, he took a big sip of his water, leaned back, and burped. Not quietly, not even discreetly. It echoed. I swear a baby at the next table looked up like, dang, he didn't even cover his mouth. My bad, he said, wiping his chin. It's the air. I swallowed too much while talking. That sentence lives in my nightmares now. I stared at my reflection in the butter knife. Who was this girl? Why was she here? Why did she think this would be the boy who would write poetry about her and wear rings and make her playlists called Midnight Rides? He was chewing straws, denying NASA, releasing internal demons from both ends. And I was still sitting there, nodding, smiling, holding on to my last thread of human dignity. Maybe he's just really comfortable with me. Maybe he has a rare condition where he doesn't notice his own gas. Maybe I have a rare condition where I attract chaos in hoodie form. I excused myself to the bathroom again. My best friend, who was on standby, answered before the first ring. She wrote, "Still alive?" I replied with, "He farted and then burped within 10 minutes. Wait, that's not a date. That's a biohazard zone. Do you need extraction?" Then I said, "Not yet, but have a code word ready." Got it. Say volcano. I'll call you with a fake emergency. Perfect, I said, glancing at myself in the mirror. I'm going back in. Godspeed, soldier. I returned to Noah casually watching TikToks on full volume. No headphones, just scrolling and snorting at cat fails like we were in his living room. The food still wasn't there. I considered leaving. I considered climbing into the decorative plant behind our booth and starting a new life there. Instead, I sat down. He looked up, smiled and said, "You're chill. Most girls would have dipped after the fart." I smiled politely, took a deep breath and made a mental note. By the time the waiter finally arrived, I was emotionally dead inside. He gave a polite, "Sorry for the wait," and dropped off 2 menus that felt more ceremonial than useful at this point. Noah looked up like he had just woken from a nap and said, "Yo, you got fries or nah?" The waiter blinked. Yes, page 2. Sick, I'll get those. Extra crispy. Like, disrespectfully crispy. I tried to smile through my jaw tightening. Ordered pasta. Something simple. Something carb-heavy enough to soak up the trauma. While we waited, again, Noah dug around in the front pocket of his hoodie like it was Mary Poppins' bag. And then, as if this night hadn't already felt like a performance art piece in anti-romance, he said, "Hey, I brought you something." I blinked. "You did?" I thought maybe it was a flower, or like a dumb little note, or maybe gum to replace the chewed up straw carcass on his plate. Instead, he pulled out a travel-size bottle of lotion, not even sealed, used. "It smells like coconut and gasoline," he said proudly. "Got it free from my aunt's bathroom cabinet. Thought of you. Let me just say, if a haunted doll were trying to curse me, this would be its starter gift." I nodded slowly. "Thanks?" He smiled and whispered like it was a romantic secret. "Don't tell the waiter. I didn't pay for it." Yup, a hand-me-down half-used lotion bottle was apparently this boy's love language. Right as I was considering whether I could fake an allergic reaction to escape, my phone buzzed, right? A text from my best friend. "Volcano," I hesitated. I stared at Noah, now making his straw into a moustache and saying, "I look like a French pirate." Then I texted back, "Volcano. Volcano. Erupting." 5 seconds later, she called. "Mia? Oh my God, it's your uncle, the one with the koi pond. There's been a fish emergency. We need you, right now." I gasped with appropriate drama. The koi! The koi! It's serious!" I hung up, eyes wide. "Noah, I'm so sorry. Family emergency. I have to go." He blinked. "Do koi make good sushi or—" I was already grabbing my bag. I nearly ran out of the restaurant, didn't wait for food, didn't look back, left the lotion behind on the table like cursed evidence. When I got outside, the air hit me like freedom. I exhaled so hard I probably lost 5 years of stress. My best friend was waiting in her mum's car, windows down, blasting Beyoncé like it was a rescue anthem. I dove into the passenger seat and yelled, "Drive, just drive." Later, at home, I sat in my room. Mascara slightly smudged, hair smelling faintly of fryer oil and chaos. I looked at myself in the mirror and said, "Girl, next time, look for the red flags before he eats plastic and gifts you unlabelled body products from his aunt's bathroom." Then I smiled, because it was terrible, but also, it was one heck of a story. And next time, I'll bring my own lotion.